So welcome everyone. This session, this monthly leadership group session, we are going to talk about about how to handle underperformance. So a lot of my clients have been asking me to speak a little deeper about this topic. And today we are going to find solutions together to a real case we're going to pick. So before we start with the group, with the sharing, I'd like you to assess your mindset. One of the most important things, I think, when we are talking about performance, when we're talking about leadership, is to understand how you feel about underperformance. So what is the first thing that pops into your head when I say evaluation? When I say feedback? What are your previous experiences with that? So if you can share that in the comment section or here live in the chat, it's going to be great, and I can check what is the thing that this brings to you. So usually what my clients say, and what usually we have as a society input in people's minds, and this is criticism. This is an awkward moment that no one likes. The employee doesn't like, the leader doesn't like, it's very uncomfortable. But in a sense, it's necessary. We know we have to go through that. And if the person is underperforming, you probably have an opinion of that already. So in your opinion, why is this person underperforming? You don't have to put it in the chat, of course. I want you to imagine the person you want to address. A real person that's really underperforming now and that you need to handle. So picture this person in front of you, remember the situation, remember what's going on. So do you have already an opinion for why is this person underperforming? What I hear usually, people don't like to say it or to admit it, but what I see is that we usually judge people, either for being lazy or not interested enough or not involved enough. And that kind of preconcept can block our performance as leaders and prevent you to connect to that person and actually make them perform better. So after we assess our mindset, we should assess our roles as leaders. No? This one. Okay. In your leadership role, no one wants to be the bad guy, okay? No one wants to be that person who's going to give criticism. So probably that's why you're here. You don't want to be this person. So what's your real intention? On the last group and all my webinars, I talk a lot about intentions, that's on clear intentions. So what's your clear intention when we are talking about underperformance? Our intention must be clear enough that you can write it down. And it should be the promoting growth, not pointing out and proving you're right. I can see that often people go to this direction of trying to prove to the employee that they are actually underperforming, and the employee justifying the mistakes, usually casting blame on someone else or giving excuse related to clients. In IT, this is very, very common. People usually, the developers like to blame the clients as if you could live without them. So how can you handle all these? So there are the main reasons we have for underperformance are these ones here. I am going to speak a little fast because this is not a webinar. This is just a small presentation for you to be able to discuss these ideas. But these are some things that I would like you to think about. So personal issues. Personal issues have a huge impact in performance. And if you don't know what is going on in that person's life, you're probably missing some part of the assessment of that underperformance. The second one are unclear expectations. So what is a performance appraisal, if you're going to use one of the most positive terms for this? So it's like, it's checking if someone met an expectation. But is this expectation really clear to both of you? Have you been using a job description or a previous KPIs? Is this really easy to assess? And is this person actually not fulfilling the expectations in one aspect or in general? Because we also, when we get annoyed by something that the person is not underperformance in one specific area, we actually get annoyed with the whole person. And that can also affect our judgment and our analysis of the underperformance. Lack of challenges and growth. This is also very common in the IT business. Since you are all here, all of you are live on this group, are in the IT industry, are IT leaders, as a matter of fact. And you can see that very often that developers, when they lack challenges and they don't see room for growth, they become demotivated. And that, of course, can impact performance. They are just maybe thinking where they can find these challenges, and their mind is not connected to your company anymore or to that project anymore. Also, you have changes in the company. Sometimes that performance of that person standed out, but it was actually a collective effort. And even if someone changed in the team, or maybe the interaction between teams changed, or if the company changed, or the leader changed, that definitely can impact performance in a bad way. The wrong level of support as well. So if you're not giving the support, the necessary support, not too much, not too little. We have the Hersey and Blanchard situational leadership model, which I think is great for you to understand the level of support that you have to give, because it depends not just on the seniority of that person. Usually when we have a senior professional, we think that we have to give them autonomy and delegate. But if you're giving like a new challenge to that senior developer, for instance, this person might not have the same performance as they did with the previous tasks. So they're risking a lot in this. They're risking their image. IT people hate to be wrong. So if you're giving them new challenge, you should go back a few steps in the delegating scale and try to support it a little more so they can be sure they won't make mistakes and they will be continuous to be seen as effective professionals. And of course, unclear communication, because this creates a lot of stress when you don't have a clear communication with someone, especially about the expectations.